Great to be home. I want to thank Ralph and Tina and all of you who worked so hard to put on this wonderful event and for allowing me to be a part of this special evening. My grandfathers and nearly all of my O'Neill relatives were railroad workers, so I'm especially honored to be a part of this evening's fundraiser. As many of you know, and Ralph just told you, I was born in McComb, and I spent an idyllic childhood here. At one time, I think I was related to everybody on Smithdale Road, which is now Veterans Boulevard, all the way out to the county line. And my relatives, the Forrests, the Whittingtons, the O'Neills, they were all storytellers, especially the O'Neills. So when I was a little girl, I would sit on their various porches and listen to their tales and that musical laughter that always accompanied their jokes and their stories. And of course, years later, I got married to this man over here, a military man. And he took me to the East Coast, the West Coast, states in between, and England. But no matter how far we moved or where we traveled, I carried those stories of my youth in my heart. And when I became a writer, my pen took me back to my roots here in McComb. Many of my stories and all three of my books are set in McComb, to which I gave the fictional name Zebulon, those of you who have read the books. I owe a great debt to my father, Ernest Forrest, because he's the one who's told me many of the stories that is in my work. So tonight I'm going to read one of those stories he told me. I wrote it years ago after he told me a tale about my Uncle P.B. O'Neill and another snippet about his friend Spencer McGee. So I put those two together and wrote this story. And I want y'all to know I've taken liberties with the setting, and I may have gotten some of the railroad terms wrong, so my apologies to all railroad workers. But while the story is a little bit of fact, it's mostly the product of my imagination. It's called Barclay's End. P.B. and Eunice Barclay live in a caboose, which P.B. bought at an auction in 1976. Hauling it out Smithdale Road, he obstructed traffic for nearly 2 hours, damaged several mailboxes and 3 oleander bushes, and crushed Miss Mamie Heard's prize camellia bush along the way. But no one was really angry with P.B. In fact, most of the people who lived along the road came out of their houses to stand and wave as P.B. slowly meandered toward the turnoff onto Morris Hill, where he'd cleared a spot beside his old paint-peeling wooden house. Everyone knew the story of the caboose, which P.B. had first seen on a mild December day some 28 years earlier. And all of the community knew, too, that the events which occurred on that particular day had a direct influence on P.B.'s decision to reside in a train car. P.B. Barclay's caboose, or Barclay's End, as the Enterprise community refers to it, had been in its red varnish days the conveyor of the annual white-bearded visitor to McComb, Mississippi for 7 consecutive years.
Well, I think that it could possibly be an inaugural program for something that we could do on a regular basis in the summers, 4 to 6 week period of time, maybe in a smaller venue than obviously the State Theater, that would allow us to have something on a regular Thursday night that people that are interested in this. But yes, this is my first time to do this, other than I played somewhat of a supportive role on the Southwest Medical Foundation Gala. I was treasurer of that when we would bring in artists like Fats Domino and Willie Nelson, Alabama, the Temptations, and I really enjoyed the interaction of those artists and to see live people that you had been following for a long time, their careers. But as far as putting it together and doing some things, I'm very much an amateur at it.
I would like to eventually hear my songs on the radio someday and walk into a Target or a Walmart and see my CDs on the shelf, you know, and have a video on CMT. You know, that's always been a dream of mine, and so I guess that's kind of what I'm working my way towards. You know, I'm just taking it one step at a time.